Don't leave the house without this lure.
That is a fish. Oh yeah. Crazy. That 6 cent clout is great. It's actually becoming a little stupid now.
How's it guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bassing with Sasha. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the #1 bait that every angler should have in their tackle box year round. So stay tuned and enjoy. So the bait that I'm talking about in this video is a stick bait. As you guys can see, I've got two different types here, but I'll go in more into detail about the different types of stick baits that you can get in the industry. Okay, so reason why I don't go fishing without this lure is because this bait is super versatile. It can be fished as a worm, obviously, and it can be fished as a fleeing bait fish. This has a great profile. It's very slender and it is just a fish catching machine. So the reason why I tell you guys to fish this year round is because it's great for winter time. It's got very little action. You can see it's got no appendages on it. And in summertime, it is great for that tough bite. When the fish are lethargic, it's too hot outside and they just don't want to bite something that is super erratic. A stick bait really shines during the post-spawn season. Reason for that is you can really cast this close up on those beds where those males are busy fanning the beds. It's also very good during spawn because the females are sitting on their bed and they try and get rid of everything and anything that is on their beds. During autumn time or fall time, that's just going into winter. This is also an epic bait to throw because the fish are feeding, they're getting all that food into their belly for the winter season. So yes, I can highly recommend these two baits to anybody, to any fisherman, newbie, or even a professional angler. So you guys are most probably wondering why I take two different types of stick baits with. Let me tell you guys why. This bait is less buoyant. So if the fish aren't willing to bite a fast sinking Senko, I go for something that's a little bit more subtle. It sinks a lot slower. And this potentially could get you that bite where others aren't getting the bite. Other reason why I go for a heavier stick bait, and this is my preferred stick bait, reason for that is I like to work a stick bait really quickly. This has a lot of salt in it and that is less buoyant than what this one is, which doesn't have that much salt in it. I try and keep my colors as simple as possible. The reason for that is that you can get lost within the fishing industries about colors and all that. So I just try and keep to two colors, mostly a black or very dark colored Senko or a very natural Senko. Okay, let's talk about how I would be throwing these stick baits. #1, I would be throwing it on a wacky rig. Reason for that is it's just a great presentation, very subtle, and the fish love the way a Senko flutters in the water column all the way down into their face, into their mouth, and they just can't resist. Next way I would throw it is a weightless Texas rig. Reason for that is it's very similar to a wacky rig, but it is way more weedless and you can throw it way more up in the sticks. The third way I would be throwing a Senko stick bait would be on a Texas rig. Just with a little bullet weight pegged, chuck it out there, let it drop on the floor, either drag it or hop it. Okay, let's talk about the rods I would be using for every type of presentation. For the wacky rig, I would be using a spinning setup. It's mostly going to be a medium powered action rod. I'll pair that up with 15-pound braid and I will have a 8-pound leader to my braid or a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. For the weightless Texas rig, I'll be using a bait casting setup. I will be using 12-pound fluorocarbon leader The rod is also a medium powered action rod. It is very important to have a high speed gear ratio reel. Reason for that is you want to be able to pick up the slack after you've twitched that bait, and if a fish bites this, they mostly swim towards the bait, towards you, or they swim in a different direction and you have to get that fish in. My Texas rig setup, I will mostly be throwing a medium heavy action rod with 15-pound fluorocarbon line, and it is essential to have a fast gear ratio reel. Reason for that is you need to pick up slack if the fish is running towards you, and that's all I have for you on the rigs. Okay, so I hope I've kept it really simple for you guys to actually understand how to fish a stick bait. So yes, like I say, do not go fishing without this bait. It is an essential bait. It's a key ingredient for you to catch more fish. I hope that you guys enjoyed this short tutorial on stick baits, and I hope that you guys can go out in winter, summer, autumn, and obviously in spring, and I hope that you guys can catch those big uns. Leave that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, put comments down below, and I'll check you guys on another episode.